you think that you are now blessed to take a spacecraft to heaven, that you can touch a button and you will be in front of your Lord, and the Lord will be waiting for you, and the Lord will be showering all happiness on you. When are we going to get out of this ignorance? When are we going to get out of the ignorance and understand the meaning of initiate? What is the meaning for somebody to get initiated? You know the meaning of initiation? In English, you go to the dictionary. What is the meaning of initiation? Initiate means to begin. Good, Pratibha has given the answer. Initiate means to start, to initiate a journey, to initiate. What are you initiating? So the real initiation of a guru, when my guru sent me on a talash, I believe it was a good initiation. There was no guru mantra. There were no fairy tales. There was no cock and bull stories. You know, cock and bull stories is what is meant when you hear all these fairy tales of life. What will we do with these fairy tales? Ye Amar Chitra Katha is one of the hottest selling magazine, and you get all kind of stories, right? But the point is that what is the true initiation? The true initiation is when a spiritual master can initiate you on the path, can initiate you on that journey of spirituality. That is initiation. Are you going on that path? Have you started your journey? If you have not started your journey, then and you have a mantra and you carry a flag in your hand, I am initiated, I am initiated. You know, there are a lot of gurus in this world. I know some gurus, especially in North India, over Delhi, in that area, hundreds of gurus who have what is called this initiation drive. The initiation drive means there's a marketing team to initiate people. No, this is not a marketing game. Maybe when I was with my guru, I did not find him initiating many people, because the person who has to be initiated must be ready, right? If the person is not ready, what's the point of initiating? If the person says every day I need to have 130 ml of rum before I sleep in the night, and you initiate him, what will that poor man do? So we have to understand who is ready to be initiated. It is somebody who is yearning for God. It is somebody who is yearning for liberation. It is somebody who wants enlightenment. You initiate that person who is prepared to go on the path. You know, today you are seeing so many people on this Zoom call every day. Why? Yeah, people are keen. People want to learn. People want question answers. People want to listen. People want to ask. People want to move forward. This call is you are all the guru. You have become the guru. By asking questions, you are become the guru, and you are initiating so many people on this journey of enlightenment. So let us start with questions. Harsh, question of Harsh.
Shivam sir.
Shivam.
My question is, if one does not do his duty and keep his focus on his purpose, so can he achieve purpose of without eating food? अगर कोई ड्यूटी नहीं करता है तो उसे खाना नहीं मिलेगा ना, बिकॉज सही सैलरी नहीं मिलेगी, तो पर्पस कैसे पूरा कर पाएगा?
No, I please first in English or Hindi. Use one language and explain your question again, please.
Okay. I'll use English.
Yeah.
If one does not do his duty, he will not be paid and he will not be able to buy food, correct?
Correct.
Then without eating food, how can he fulfill his purpose of life?
Correct.
So basically both are needed hand by hand, correct?
Who told you we should not do our duty and we should not eat food? Who gave you this?
Nobody told.
Then why do you believe like that? Why do you think like that, Harsh?
I only bring that thought of my own.
My dear Harsh.
Yes, sir.
How much time does it take to work to fill your stomach? Tell me. How many
50
hours
to
in a
80
day
minutes.
must you work? How many hours you must work to fill your stomach? How much money you need to fill your stomach?
I think 6 to 8 hours.
Then what about the balance 16 hours?
It varies from person to person.
You use the hours to fulfill your purpose. And somebody who's really keen on God, they will go work 8 hours in an ashram. They will go and work 8 hours in an institute of enlightenment. They will go and work 8 hours in a temple. They will go and work 8 hours in a library where they can read books. It all depends upon your subject of interest.
Yes,
Therefore,
yes.
don't believe that you have to stop working to be on the spiritual path. These are all fairy tales. Don't believe these fairy tales. You need to do your duty. Please do your duty. And while you do your duty, you keep your focus on enlightenment. Okay?
Great. Got your answer, yes.
Thank you, Harsh. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir.
Gautam.
Shivam,
Yes, Gautam. Yes, Shivam. Shivam, Gautam.
actually, here I want to know how to come out of meditation. Because when we do meditation, when we enter the meditation, I feel that where I'm sitting, I don't know where I'm sitting. So I feel very happy and I feel very happy. But when I open my eyes, suddenly I feel sad. Oh, why I came out? Suddenly I feel very sad. So how
Gautam,
to overcome this?
No, don't overcome, Gautam. Please don't overcome. Please don't come out of meditation. You be there only.
I feel very happy when I do meditation.
No, you please be there only. Don't come. When naturally meditation throws you out of meditation, you come out. Otherwise, you please be there only. Don't try to come out of meditation. You get my point?
Okay.
What I'm saying? Remain in that state.
But I'll stay more than half an hour. I'll stay. But suddenly I open my eyes. Oh, it's time up. I have to go. I think like this.
Then that is not meditation. No.
After coming out, I'm telling.
Okay, so then you go. Then you get up and go. Then you be again and you're free. Come back to meditation. See, meditation is the way to slow down that AK-50, not AK-47. I told you we have AK-50. AK-50 is a gun. It is shooting 50 thoughts per minute. It is more dangerous than AK-47. You heard of AK-47 being used by terrorists, but this is AK-50. AK-50 is bombarding us with 50 thoughts a minute. Meditation is the way out of this.
Yeah, but I feel very happy here and I don't know where I'm sitting exactly. I feel very happy.
My first suggestion, don't hurry and come out of meditation. My second suggestion, when you come out of meditation, be still for 1 minute, be quiet for a few seconds, 1 minute, and get back to your work. Till you next come to meditation. Next, please. Thank you, Gautam.
Thank you.
Sanjay Das.
Shivam Guruji.
Shivam, Sanjay.
Actually, I am very happy to be associated with you, Guruji, because we have been enlightened day by day. As the thing is going, we are progressing. Secondly, when yesterday we were doing that, as you were explaining that jigsaw, this thing, 29th point was when we die, no, the soul gets, mind and ego is reborn. And when we die, the soul, I was under the impression that the soul actually is the one which goes in the zygote. But as you are telling, mind and ego, me, that goes into the zygote and that is born. And our soul goes to this, mixes with Paramatma.
Correct. Comes back in the zygote.
Oh, it comes back.
Yeah. See, Sanjay, let me explain it to you. Let's be very clear about it. In the computer, there is hardware, software, and power supply.
Yes.
We spoke about this. The human being also has got physical body and mind, ME, mind and ego, me, hardware and software. What is the power supply? The power supply is the Atma.
Oh.
Now, we are made of 3 parts. Now, the body, Sanjay, this body will die. This body will be, you've seen so many. You are the one who told about Mausi, no?
Yes.
So,
Mausi ji.
So Mausi ji, body is dead, correct? And the Atma is liberated. Where does the Atma go? Just like a balloon, we burst the balloon. Where does the air go? The air merges with the air that is everywhere. The Atma also merges with the Paramatma, which is everywhere. Now comes the karma, the ME, the mind and ego. It's carrying karma. Where does it go? It goes into a zygote.
Yes.
When it goes into a zygote, it needs Atma again. The Atma comes. Where the Atma comes from, Sanjay Das? Where does Atma come from?
Atma from this thing. It merges with the Paramatma
Where is Atma available?
everywhere.
Correct. So Atma is everywhere. So it comes in the zygote.
Okay, got
But it only comes in the zygote when the me, the mind and ego carrying its karma. Can you imagine now? M-E, you imagine
Yes.
just in a picture in your mind. M-E is carrying karma on the head and walking. Actually, it's not walking, right? It's a subtle aspect. The M-E is carrying karma and zoop going into the zygote. The Atma gives it life immediately because it's as per the law of karma. When we realize the ME does not exist, when we realize we are not ME, then what happens? If you realize, if Sanjay Das realize I am not ME,
we are enlightened.
no, then we are liberated.
Liberated.
Then the ME, the mind and ego, Sanjay Das, does not go into a zygote. It does not go into zygote, and
Then-
Sanjay Das becomes one with God.
The Nirvana Moksha.
Nirvana, moksha, that's it. It's very simple. But the point is, your mind will not again, if you don't capture now, again mind will ask you tomorrow how it's
Yes.
possible.
Yes, it happens.
Actually, it is a very simple equation. Very simple. When God, which is Atma plus ME, Atma plus ME equals Jeev Atma. Huh?
Got it, sir. Got it.
And the moment if the Jiva, the ME, we overcome it, then there is Atma, Atma becomes Paramatma. We become one with the Paramatma.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sure.
Thank you, sure. Next, please. Bridget. Bridget, your question, should I read out, Bridget? Beautiful
Yes, you can
evening
read,
to-
please.
Beautiful evening to all. My question today, please. How it works and how to handle it. What?
I talk about the law of cause and effect.
How the law of cause and effect works.
Yes.
Okay, how does the law of cause and effect work?
Yes.
Cause and effect. If there's a smoke, there must be a fire. Where did the smoke come from? Smoke is the effect. The cause is the fire. Correct? If there is no fire, no smoke. So,
See.
when we are talking about spirituality, we talk about the ocean. If there is an ocean, there will be waves in the beach. There will be many waves. You've gone to the beach, right? The wave is coming and the wave is going. The wave is coming, the wave is going. That is the effect. What is the cause? The cause is the ocean, the water, big water, ocean water. So, Bridget, you and me, we are effects. What is the cause? What is the cause of Bridget? How did you come about? So, the scientific theory now, spirituality told many thousand years ago, science has discovered every cell of the body appears to be matter, appears to be a mass of matter, but actually it is energy. Every cell, if you go to a microscope and you see in a microscope, you take a cell, atom, electron, neutron, proton, the smallest is called quark. Q-U-A-R-K, quark. That smallest particle, if you observe it, it disappears. It disappears into an energy wave. Like how in your iPhone or your mobile phone, music comes. How does the music comes? It comes as audio wave files. It comes from the satellite. Correct? So we human beings, actually, we are energy. You and me you appear as Bridget, but the real Bridget, the body will die. The body will return to dust. But you are actually energy. The energy is the effect. Who is the cause? The cause is the energy that comes from the sun, from the wind, from the waves, from the divine. God is the cause. We are all effects. You and me appear different. Like in the ocean, there are many waves. Appear so many waves, but they are not so many waves. It is coming from one ocean. Coming, going, coming, going, coming, going. We are also coming, going. We are also coming, going.
Mhm.
This is the law of cause and effect.
Okay, I understand better now. Thank you so much.
Also, another cause of it is the law of karma, which is if you plant apple, you will get apples. That is another way of explaining the law of karma, is also known as the law of cause and effect. But I explained a different aspect to you today.
D'accord, thank you.
Thank you. Shivoham.
Sure.
Sudeep Bhargava.
Shivam sir.
Shivoham.
So my question will be in two parts. I don't know whether the second part will be required or not, depending on your answer, but I'll just
Go
keep
ahead.
the first part first.
Let's go with the first part.
Yeah. So I'm just taking an example. Suppose there's a drama going on, and my wife is also playing a role in that drama.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know that she is actually my wife, but in the drama she's playing some other role. Maybe she's playing the role of a vamp kind of a role, and I have to slap her hard.
Yeah.
Now I know that she's my wife. As a wife, I should not be slapping her, but because that's a role that she's playing in the drama, I will have to slap her.
Correct.
If I change my role or my dialogues depending on the realization that I have, I would actually be playing, or I would be actually be disrupting the plans of the director.
Yeah.
As a husband, I should not be hitting my wife. So if I'm looking at my wife, I will not hit her. But she's a vamp at that point of time, so I will hit her. If I decide not to do that, I'm disturbing the plans. Now, if I take the analogy of this real world, I know that the person who is standing in front of me is also God.
Yeah.
But because of the role that he's playing, I might have to take an action against him.
Yeah.
No, so that's one part of it. And the second is closely related to this, that do we really have a control? No, it's in the same part only. In the same part only. So my question is that do we really have a control on our karma, or should surrender be a better option? That let God decide what is good or bad for me. I may not be in a position to decide that.
No. God deciding comes after enlightenment. God deciding is important, but not like, you say this is exactly, you're going back to the Arjuna and Krishna. You're going back to that point again.
Yes.
And
yes.
I don't like to quote Bhagavad Gita. Honestly, I don't like to get back there because there's a lot of misinterpretation.
No, that's okay. I understand. Yeah. Oh, fine.
So what I'm saying, you're in this world. Somebody is doing some natak. Now, for example, let's talk practically. Let's not just talk theory, right? So you are walking on the road, and there's one man, and he's taking a knife, and there's a beggar woman there, and he's cutting that beggar woman's. He's killing her and taking her beggar woman's money. So what will you do? Will you keep quiet?
No.
So you will automatically react for dharma. That's why we are taught on dharma. What is the meaning of dharma? This is your dharma. See, the dharma has no proper definition. Dharma is not just your duty, it is your ethics, it is your values, it is your way of life. So it is a very beautiful word. It is your dharma. You have to do it. Doesn't mean, okay, it's a drama going on, so that man is killing then where is your soul? Where is your atma inside you? So is that point, is the point clear?
Yes. That is where my doubt was coming in, sir. That who decides this dharma? I was taking an example with Ruchika of Robin Hood. Robin Hood could be a good person for some, but he's a bad person for the others also. Now, is Robin Hood, you know the Robin Hood story. He steals the money from rich and gives it to the poor. The rich will call him bad, the poor will call him good. Now, what is his dharma? Who decides my dharma?
Then Robin Hood is pakka going to has to continue the karma coming back again and again and again for janma after janma after janma. He has to keep on coming.
Now, this is where my second part comes in. That if I leave everything to the law of karma, I totally believe in law of karma. I have absolutely
hold it. Sudeep, hold it. Don't jump the gun. You cannot leave everything to the law of karma. What do you mean by leaving everything to the law of karma? What do you mean?
Yeah, leaving means that, okay, let the law of karma take its own course and that the person will
Come on.
get punished automatically.
It's
That's
just
what I
like
meant.
saying, it's just like saying I'm sitting on the table and let the food come and eat. Let the food eat me. How can you say I'm sitting on the table if the food wants to come in my stomach? Let
Right,
it come.
right.
Will Sudeep, what is the meaning of karma? The meaning of karma is action.
Ji.
That means you have to perform the action.
Hmm.
Even if you are a liberated soul, you have to perform the action.
Correct.
There is no freedom from action. Be clear about this. See, the problem is that there's too many fairy tales in the picture. That's the whole problem. Therefore, I tell you so many times, unlearn many things and keep only what is relevant. So today I'm giving you a very, very relevant point, not only for Sudeep, everybody. Please, very, very important. There is no freedom from karma, dear Sudeep. Don't tell this fairy tale, I'm leaving it to karma. What you are leaving to karma? That means there is no karma. There is no question of no karma. We don't have an option.
True.
There are only two options. What are the two options? Can you tell me?
Either the good or the bad karma.
No. Who can tell me? In the group, who can answer? What are the two options?
Or karma is one and the second one is to act like an instrument, if that is
Good.
the second option.
Correct. So
What we plant, what we get.
No. Hold on. So Sudeep, right. One is there is karma,
I do it.
and second is karma yoga. There are only two. There is no escape from action. Everybody, even when Swami living in Himalayas, has to get up and eat food and go to the toilet. He cannot say, I am sitting in samadhi for all this is. See, let me tell you, you hear some nonsense stories. What nonsense story you hear? Some Swami sitting for 25 years, 50 years, 100 years doing nothing. Now you want to listen to the stories, you listen to the stories. I don't even want to consider those stories. I don't even want to consider. If such a Swami is there, good luck to him. We are not interested. Because it is not practical, right? It's not a way to live life. So my point is, we are all practical. We are all asking day-to-day questions. So Sudeep, one, when you do karma, good karma, bad karma, that is a subset of karma. But two, you don't do karma. You surrender your karma. You surrender your karma as a karma yogi. That means you are doing as an instrument what you just said just now. But you have to still do. You can't surrender to karma yoga. You have to surrender to the divine. You can't surrender to, I surrender to karma. No, not like that. So you have to understand the will divine. Oh Lord, what is your will? Your will is I should go and serve the poor. Okay, like Mother Teresa, I will go and serve the poor. Your will is I should do bhakti. Okay, I will do bhakti. Therefore, the yoga has got four parts: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. But if we become the me, the mind and ego me, then we are caught in karma. I hope it's taking
Yes, sir.
clarity.
Definitely.
Thank you, Sudeep.
Pranam.
Krishna Sarma.
Sir, Shivoham, sir.
Shivoham, Krishna Sarma.
I am having one problem. It is not spirituality, but it is a problem.
Tell me, sir.
Every half an hour, I am going to the kitchen and munching something, either jaggery or chutney dal or groundnut, and people are my own house people are laughing at me. You are doing meditation for half an hour, 1 hour. Why do you want this small things always to munch?
I am doing the same thing.
This habit?
I am doing the same thing, sir. I am doing the same thing. Okay. See, let me explain to you. See, sometimes we human beings, I'm going to talk a little different subject. It's a little different subject. Sometimes we human beings, we think sex is bad.
Yeah.
Correct or not? We think
Correct.
sex is bad.
Yes.
Then why God created man and woman in such a way that the two genitals are facing each other?
Not required for the universe to grow.
No, is God crazy?
God's no. God's own creation.
This is God's plan, no?
Yes.
God has designed man and woman in such a manner
Yes.
that the genitals or the sexual organ of man and woman is touching each other, facing each other. This is God's plan.
Yes.
Similarly, why I just sorry to bring in such an analogy. Similarly, God has given us a stomach and God has given tongue, and you have to eat. Now, Krishna Sharma, as long as we think we are the body, then we have no control of it. When time will come, a time comes when I used to have a very bad habit of this, not little bad habit, I used to have a very bad habit. Now I have crossed that habit to a great extent. But honestly, having a few nuts or having some small chips or having some small whatever, maybe anything available is not a problem. But let me explain to you. But if you spend half an hour on meditation and you spend 1 hour checking Haldiram's menu,
No,
no,
not like that.
I'm just explaining to you. Then there's a big problem.
Yes.
So you must just filling your stomach with whatever is available in the kitchen is no bad habit. However, in the path of enlightenment and the path of realization, we are trying to not to be slave of the body, the mind, and the ego. In this case, we are the slave. So I also try my best not to. If something comes like that, feel like munching, I drink 1 glass of water. Water is a false. It makes you feel full in a false manner for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You get my point, Krishna Sharma?
Yeah,
But keep in mind, it is not a crime to eat something. Also keep in mind, it is not a good habit because it takes your attention to your stomach. It takes your attention to your tongue.
Yeah. Yes.
Kalepure, kadlepure, murko, something or the other you want to eat. So slowly by slowly, make that habit go less and less and less. As the attention goes to God, that habit will become less and less and less. Don't
Thank
worry
you,
about it.
Thank
Don't
you,
worry
sir.
about
Sorry for the silly doubt.
it. No, it's a very relevant question. See, let me tell you one thing. We
Yes,
are
sir.
talking about life.
Yeah.
We are talking everything to do with life, happiness, unhappiness. Anybody may ask any question. I gave a very odd example, but I want you to understand it is natural. Don't try to suppress a natural feeling. Nothing to suppress. You're not robbing from neighbor's house, no. What is the problem?
No.
If you tell me I'm going to neighbor's house and robbing every half an hour, then it's a different situation.
And
No,
quantity is also very less.
I am. That's why I'm saying it is not a big issue. Slowly by
Thank you,
slowly, try
Yeah.
to overcome it slowly by slowly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Shiva.
Sure.
Next question. Ashok Chotwani.
Sure, Mayor sir.
Shivoham Ashok.
Sir, nowadays it is very difficult to find true guru. Let us
True.
know how to find true guru and believe in him.
True Guru.
Yeah.
See, the problem is we want a fancy guru, no? The problem is we want a fancy guru. The guru should have so many million followers. Then that is where we get caught. Who is a guru? Anybody who can take you from gu to ru. Anybody who can take you from darkness to light. He becomes your spiritual mentor. The problem is we have complicated this word of guru. This word of guru. My Guruji, Dada J.P. Vaswani, when I used to go to him, hundreds of people used to chase him. But he used to leave them and he used to make me sit down. He used to say, I was invited to his room without invitation. I could have lunch and dinner with him every day. Simple chapati and simple food. But I had no need of invitation. What I'm trying to say is, the guru is somebody who can guide you on the path of enlightenment. You need to find somebody who can guide you. As long as somebody is guiding you and taking you step by step, then you have to follow that path. Forget about calling guru and no guru. Forget about this. Forget about the titles. Don't give it titles. So if you Adi Shankara said, neither am I somebody's guru nor somebody is my guru. Forget about this. So you keep your attention on God. And anybody who becomes anybody who helps you to go onward, forward, upward, Godward, that becomes your spiritual mentor. You change the word. You say, I'm
Yeah.
looking to have spiritual guidance.
Okay,
Anybody
sir.
who gives you the right spiritual guidance, but don't go one day, don't follow Mr. A, go right, second day go left, third day go right again, fourth day go left. After 1 month, you'll be in the same position.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Last question, Tanu Chopra. Yes, Tanu.
Shivoham Guruji,
Shivoham.
I wanted to ask you, how do we take out the doership from karma? Like ultimately, when we do certain thing, we say, "Nahi, maine ye kar diya." So how do we practice taking it out?
See, so the problem is that it is very difficult. What you're saying, because every time we do, suppose I'm talking to you, I think I'm talking. See, simple thing. I think I'm talking, but I am not talking because the I, the ego, doesn't exist. So I always start to talk. To tell you all, the magic words are 2 words. The magic words are neti, neti. I am not this body. I am not the mind and ego. The problem is all the time when you see a picture of your class, your school picture with all your friends are there. What do you look at the picture and say, oh, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. That's not you. That's just your body. That's not you. When you start realizing I am not the body, I am not the mind and ego, me, then you start realizing, I do nothing. It's very important to remind yourself, and sometimes through songs. What do I tell myself? I tell myself, मैं क्या हूँ कुछ भी नहीं, सब कुछ तुम ही हो प्रभु, तुम बिन मैं क्या कुछ भी ना, जो भी मैं दिखता प्रभु, कण कण में तू है समा, तुम बिन मैं क्या कुछ भी ना, लहर एक हूँ मैं प्रभु, आता मैं जाता प्रभु, तू है समुंदर सारा, तुझ में समाता प्रभु, तुझी से मैं आता कुछ भी ना. This is my Guru's teaching to me. The biggest teaching of my Guru, for my Guru, is we are nothing, we are nothing, we are nothing. I am not, alone thou art. You are everything, I am nothing. My Guru used to talk of this every day, every day. The Guru's teaching every day. Dada used to say, we are nothing, we are nothing, we are nothing. So when you reach that state of nothingness, the doership goes away. Then you don't believe I am doing. Then you know God is doing. And when God is doing through you, you become the instrument. We spoke about becoming the instrument. Then there is no doership. Then there is no karma. And this is liberation. My dear friends, thank you. Every day, my dear friends, we need to go forward on this journey. Every day we have to ask questions about who am I? Where did I come from? How do we find a guru? What is happiness? What is birth? What is death? Where is heaven? Where is hell? Where is the soul? What is religion? What is spirituality? Should we go to temple, church? Should we not go? What rituals to follow? Why should we follow rituals? We have to ask hundreds and hundreds of questions because the journey to enlightenment is not for everybody. Only that person who is a keen seeker, a mumukshu. It's called a mumukshu. A mumukshu is one who seeks God, who loves God. Right? All the time he's looking up and saying, oh Prabhu, oh Allah, oh God, I want you, I want you, I want you. When you keep on seeking God, you ask questions and then you will realize the truth. I thank you. God bless you all.